What's going on? Mr. Dave here on the Rock Pile. How you doing out there in internet land? We're doing the rebar shaping, bending, and starting to shape out the grotto here. So I wanted to show you guys how that actually happens and the strategy behind that. I think I've shared that a little bit on other videos, but I'm not sure how clear it was and able to be understood. So here's our pool project again, and we've got our grotto going on right there. It's hard to see it probably with the light and shadow, but we've got that there, and then we've got a small rock feature here. Looks a little haywire, but basically we're just going to bend these steel uprights into sort of a boulder there, and then these ones over here, these guys are going to come up and create a boulder that will fit that corner. Something in there right like that, and then a smaller one over there. So we stub those out, get the caps on, and so we're safe and stuff. And so we've got our 10-foot uprights, got some 1/2 inch we're going to weave into this thing too. But we start off with epoxying steel into the structure of the pool. We go in 3 inches or so, and then we put all the rebar in just to make sure we have enough pieces. Then we just pull the rebar out with our gun, squirt in the epoxy, then put in our steel and let that cure for a day, and we're good to go. So the steel on the bottom, some of it's bending sideways. That's going to go up, and then obviously these ones can come across as our horizontals. Now the question is how do we decide our shape? It's very easy to make roundy rolling shapes with big long 10-foot pieces of rebar. You can just bend them and pull them and they get a nice curve to them. So, but we want to get more distinct angles to this feature because we've got rock that's very angular here on this project. It's almost too angular. It's pretty sharp stuff. So this is going to be our guide a little bit for what kind of rock we want to do, but we're going to avoid the really razor sharp edges that you can see right on those sides there. So on this project here, with this steel we have here, we've epoxied it in. I'm going to pick one of these pieces of rebar. I'm going to pull it up at an angle, and that'll be where we create a plane on the top and then a plane on the front for the front wall of it. So it'll have a demarcation line. There'll be an edge, a corner, if you will, on a surface as far as surfaces go. So the plane will go up, planes will go down. We'll probably have one at an angle here that'll have a plane working its way around, a couple maybe, going to the center point of the feature. So we figure out, establish where we want to have our rock start to tip in. And so I'm standing up here, I'm looking at eye level, so I want it to be above. I want the roof area to not be bumping anybody's head. So this one probably be the one. I'm going to bend it up at an angle and then tweak it over this way. So there'll be a plane here and a plane there. And once I establish sort of like the guide, sort of the backbone is what I've called them in other videos. It's sort of the place where now you have a place to just lay all these other pieces of rebar into and then get that upper bend to get that plane. Again, that's at an angle. You want to have things tweaked a little bit. You don't want to have everything perfectly vertical because that starts to speak of human intervention, you might say. All right, so you've got all this rebar just dangling out here all over the place, and you can see the shadows. It's kind of like a giant chia pet or whatever you call it. So all this stuff looks rather disjointed and unorganized, but you just simply move things around, get them around other pieces of rebar that are in the way, move it outside, and now you can take that where you want it to go. And again, the ones that are on the ground, those are coming up. The ones that are on the sides, those will be coming across horizontally. But again, we're going to be creating some bend points where this rock will not be a big round roly-poly rock, but it'll actually be more angular like the rocks that we have in this whole area. These four right here that you see, those are going to be a pylon. That's going to all be made pretty much straight up, and it's going to go up to above our heads to about where the water level will be, that will drop down our stream and then dump into the pool. So these are structural support beams that will hold up this whole section of it and really give it some rigidity. There's so much steel here, and it's crisscrossed. I also do angular braces like you have in houses, and you carpenters and framers out there probably have a word for that. But these pylons will be there to support it, in addition to the vertical shapes. They all have a grid. We're going to have a lot of steel in here, and there's cross steel that will go in there and really make this whole thing rigid. So this is kind of extra, just having this 4-piece of rebar and a solid concrete column coming on up, and that'll give us a chance to, and then the top of the steel just sticks out, and then you just bend it over and attach it to all the rebar that's creating our dome structure over our heads. So this is above my head, you know, up here. So we'll get our rock bubble, but again, it's more angular, and that will give us our grotto. We have our stream bed here. This wall is so much higher than the water level that we want to drop this down and make it a little stream bed, and that's still much above my head. So this is going to come together from these wider points and come to and pinch together, and then go off over the waterfall edge, which will be out here somewhere, dumping in the pool with the rock work going out past it. Water always chews up the rock and the landscape up. It always works its way upstream. It gobbles up the hill and works its way upstream. So up here above, we're going to have some boulders, and we're going to have a waterfall that'll start the whole thing off right here and drop down. So these will all be laid down flat. Some will go off and connect to the bubble over here. Some on this side up above us for this space over here. We got some real rocks. Again, they're very angular. Some areas are completely sharp, where they were tumbled in the rock when they brought it in on their delivery trucks years ago. So I think these have been here for a while. So there you go. That's sort of the strategy when it comes to shaping out your grottos, and get that epoxied steel in, and then start to shape out the feature in the way you want. Watch for symmetry. Humans have a natural tendency to make things all symmetrical. Not good. We don't want everything symmetrical. So anyways, thanks for watching. You go to davehenderson.podia.com, davehenderson.podia.com for free PDF downloads, plus other cool stuff. And there's some for sale items there, some just cheap as 25 bucks, and full course there, which has got everything in it, the whole enchilada. You can also go to www.daverhenderson.com to check out my blogs and links to other platforms as well. So anyways, thanks for watching, and keep on creating. Learn, grow, become is one of the phrases I like to throw out there. And lastly, remember to be forgiving and grateful. Get those two things dialed in, and you will be a happy camper and a blessing to people in your life. Also a good idea to get to know your Father in heaven and his Son Jesus. He's the man, and he wants to take you home when it's when your time is come. So anyways, God bless you guys. Hope you're doing good out there, and send me questions. If you're this YouTube, please subscribe, and give me a like if you can. Ask me a question. I'll do my best to answer. So have a good one. We'll talk to you soon on the next one. God bless. Bye.